guys, it's LynVanieuy, and today I'm going to tell you guys a couple of short stories about my cousin Sandra and I. If you don't know who Sandra is, we've done a couple of videos together. I will leave them linked in the description box below for you guys to watch if you're interested. She's hilarious, you guys would love her. So a little bit of backstory on Sandra. Sandra is technically my husband's cousin, but she is like literally the only family member other than like immediate family. Sandra is like my immediate family. It's so funny because when we first started hanging out and talking and stuff, her and I connected like, it was just crazy. It was like Sandra and I had known each other our whole lives, and it was like Sandra and I were cousins and not Will and Sandra were cousins. It's so weird. Anyway, Sandra's like one of my best friends. She's like my little sister. She's more of a little sister to me than like a cousin, and I just love her to bits. Words cannot describe how much I love this girl. She is just one of the lights of my life. I just love her. So anyway, these stories took place about a couple of years ago. Yeah, like 2 years ago, I want to say. My perception of time is not very good, so I'm gonna say 2 years ago, but it might not be 2 years ago. So these three stories I'm going to tell are all little stories that involve Sandra and I. We like to get into shenanigans. We're not quite as immature as we were 2 years ago. I think we've both grown up a lot since then, which is weird to say because it's only been 2 years, but we were like really immature and mischievous when we first started hanging out, and the two of us together was just like bad news shenanigans, not good. So the first story I have is the time that Sandra and I stole a pig. It wasn't a real pig. I'm just gonna say that right now. It's not clickbait because it was a pig. It's just not a real pig. Basically, I grew up in a small town and I lived in like sort of this one little section, and there's only like a couple of blocks between like industrial plants and things like that. So when I was learning to ride my bike, I would ride my bike in and around these couple of blocks. And there was this one house. I will never ever forget this. It was just ingrained in my brain. It's just like one of those childhood things that's like always gonna be there. There was this one house, and in front of their nice beautiful porch they had a garden and everything, and in the garden they had this pig. It was like a flat pig, and it was like a cutout of a pig, if that makes any sense, and it was stuck into their garden, and on the front of, well, I guess it was like the side of the pig because it was like a side silhouette of a pig, and it was like a pale pink, and on the side of the pig was written Piggy's Place. And I don't know, for some reason this one thing just always stuck in my brain. I have always driven by this house and like looked at this cute little pig that says Piggy's Place on it, and I like loved it. So one night Sandra and I were hanging out and we were trying to figure out something to do. We were trying to figure out some sort of shenanigans we could get into, so we decided that we were gonna steal Piggy's Place. We pulled up, it's like one square block, and the house is on this side of the block, so I pulled up on this side of the block and we walked around the block to get to the house. And this was at like, I don't know, like 11 at night I want to say, and I was wearing these frickin' boots, like these fall fashion boots that have like a bit of a heel on them and they like go up to your knee. And we were planning like this super stealth attack on this house to like steal this lawn ornament, which I still have, by the way. It's still in my car trunk from the night we stole it. I plan on putting it up, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. So anyway, I decided that because we were gonna be like ninjas and super stealth, I couldn't be wearing my boots. So I took off my boots, I put them in my back seat, and we ran around the block. I think she was wearing flats or sneakers or something, and I was running around the block in my socks. I remember we started getting close to the front of the house, and the lights were on in the front of the house, so we just kind of sat in like the dark of like some trees or something and waited and watched to see like who was inside. And then all of a sudden one person turned their back from inside the house, and I just darted up their front lawn and like tuck and rolled into their garden, and then I was trying to upheave the pig from the garden, but I had underestimated what material the pig was made of. I had always thought that it was some sort of thin board or thin wood, plywood or something, but no, it was made out of metal, and the prongs that stuck it into the ground were also metal, and they were deep. I was trying so hard to upheave this damn pig from the frickin' garden. I was having such a hard time. I was struggling so hard. But there was like such adrenaline rushing through me that I just like upheaved the pig from its garden, and we fucking bolted. I just remember I was like covered in mud, and the pig was covered in mud because the like prongs on the bottom of the pig were like at least this long, and then there's like the actual pig, which is probably about this big as well. So this thing was like a lot bigger than I had expected it to be. But we threw the pig in my trunk, and for some reason I totally thought cops were gonna get called on us, and like people were gonna be like, where's Piggy? And like I still think about these poor people we stole this pig from. They've like literally had this pig for years, like as long as I can remember. I've remembered this pig since I was 6. So could you imagine the people who live in that house? They just one day notice that their pig from their lawn is missing, and they're like, who the fuck stole my pig lawn ornament? Like, what a weird thing to steal. But I did it. Well, and Sandra helped me. So the second story is sort of similar, but not really. It was fall. I think it was the same weekend we stole the pig. We were driving around, as Sandra and I love to do. We just like cruising around, causing trouble. And we were driving down some backcountry roads. I remembered there was a Tim Hortons camp nearby. So we like go to the Tim Hortons camp, and we're like driving around in the Tim Hortons camp. And then we like start to pull back out, and it's like this really long driveway entrance thingamajig. Right near the front where like the driveway meets road, they had a bunch of like hay bales and pumpkins of varying sizes, and there was this cute little itty bitty pumpkin, and Sandra wanted it so bad. She like loved this tiny itty bitty pumpkin, so she jumped out of my car, grabbed a tiny little pumpkin, and jumped back in my car, and then she named the pumpkin Bruce. Oh, Sandra, I love you. The third story, I don't think it was the same weekend as all of our other shenanigans, but there was this guy that I knew that was just a total fucking prick. Like an absolute prick. He had like caused problems with another friend. They like dated, and he was just an ass and so immature for his age. This guy was like 35, and he was just such a douche. I was pretty sure I knew where he lived, so Sandra and I decided that we were gonna egg his house. But neither Sandra or I had ever egged a house before, so we were both really scared. So we went to Walmart, I think, and we picked up just like a little 6 carton of eggs. We took our little 6 carton of eggs, and we were driving around trying to find this guy's house, and finally we found the house. Although I really don't think this was this person's house, but it's totally okay, because as we were going to egg this person's house, Sandra refused to get out of my car because she was terrified of getting caught. She went to whip an egg at the house, didn't realize how tiny my car is because I have like a really tiny Civic. So she went to throw the egg, and she hit the top of the car, like right where the door meets the roof. The window was down, so it was like the top of the window. She like slammed the egg inside my car and got egg everywhere. So we used Kleenex. I had to shampoo my car. It was like this whole ordeal just because we wanted to egg somebody's house, and she ended up egging my car instead. To this day, I still have egg yolk stains on the inside, just on like the side of the seat. Like, you know when you're sitting in the seat and they have like those 2 little panels that come down on the side that kind of like face outward? There's like egg stains on the one panel. But anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about in today's video. Just give you 3 little short stories about my little shenanigans with my cousin Sandra, because she's hilarious and we always get into some sort of mischievous trouble. So I just thought that they were cute little stories that I would share with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed these story times. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not already, hit subscribe, be my friend. Don't forget, I post all my social media links down in the description box below for you guys to check out. I recommend Snapchat. That's where I'm most active. And until next time, keep shining. Bye guys.